Hello world, this is Wolfstar Games, it's Anton, and welcome back to more Robotics Notes Elite. Last time, we got to see Tanegashima itself, the people of Tanegashima, really come together to help the Robot Club. And just seeing that just made me feel so good. So good. It's like I was on an emotional high, but then we took it way down and got things from Misa-ne's perspective. And we're kind of still in the middle of that scene with her. So we'll get right back into the things here. I have no idea if that event really happened, or if my memories are true. But I regret nothing. That's why I at least wanted them to deliver me from all of this.
Geji-ne, あなたはカイとアキのことを知っているわよね。
Kaito more than Akiho. But yeah, she does.
はい。二人のことは好き？嫌い？
Such an interesting thing to ask an AI.
そのような判断をする機能はゲジネには備わっていません。
And that was kind of the answer I was expecting. Yeah, that sounds about right. Geji-ne was always cold like that. Well, she doesn't have emotions. It's like, how can she have feelings for someone who's real? Have feelings for anything, really?
そんなあなたを解放してあげるわ。
Release you from this burden. Now, what does she mean by that, exactly? Before I lose myself, I need to do at least this much. I take out my phone droid. Kimijima report number 0. There's a secret report? Huh. So technically there's 8 Kimijima reports. But with what she said though, I take it this report number 0 does something to Geji-ne. I'm not entirely sure what, but an icon representing the original data is displayed on my screen. Report number 0 has the original data for what, ID? I was the one who planted the Kimijima reports around the island. She was the one who did that. Okay. Oh, wow. So it wasn't Kimijima, it was her. Well, that's a big question answered. It was back when I was in high school. How long did it take her to do that? It's like, did she also come up with how to trigger them as well? I even came up with the triggers. She did. Just as Kimijima Ko instructed. Okay, it was all constructed by Kimijima for her to do this. Okay. One of the things that he planted inside of me. Oh, inside of her. That, is it more than just the, I guess, the Kimijima reports that are inside of her? I wonder what you could call the origin of all this. Huh. Very interesting. Right now, I choose to throw it away.
ゲジネ、あなたはあの二人のところへ。
Go to them to do what?
もうここにはいなくていい。
Huh. It's like Geji-ne doesn't know how to respond, apparently.
あなたは自由よ。
It's like, you're free? It's like, it's not like Misa-ne is Aladdin setting the genie free. It's like, what? What does she mean that she's free?
ノッチよ、ゲジネ。
Nochio. It's like, did we ever get an explanation for what that is? Oh wait, didn't we learn much earlier in the game that it's like a greeting? Or like it can mean like either like welcome or goodbye? Without hesitation, I removed the icon. Deleted it. Once I confirm the data is gone, I breathe a sigh of relief. So what, the data of report number 0 has like the data of Geji-ne, but once you get like delete the data, she becomes free to roam around? Is that it? I'm not entirely sure. Geji-ne will never appear before me ever again.
秋、海、早く来て。
Hey, we're coming. We're coming, Misa-ne. I wonder if you'll be able to kill me. They won't do that. I know they won't. I mean, I guess if it comes down to it, Misa-ne could wind up killing herself. I don't know. It's like, but that would be heartbreaking. Especially from Akio's perspective. I sure hope so. Huh. I was actually really close to the end of that scene. I could have gone on a little longer last time. But, oh well. I mean, I don't know when a scene is gonna switch over. The rain has stopped. But the sky is still unstable. The sun isn't out either. We're okay, right? They can't launch the rocket yet, right? I look up at the sky with unease. Some volunteers are risking life and limb to infiltrate and monitor the Osaki launch complex. All we can do now is wait for their report. I've been discharged from assembly work. Thanks to all of the people helping, Akiho and Subaru ordered me to rest. It's like, so he doesn't push himself into his slow-mo mode. Then Akiho should do the same, with her fast forward then. They want me rested up and in top condition for the decisive battle tomorrow. And so I opted to take them up on their offer. Or at least, that was the plan. But there's something else I need to do. And what's that?
いいですか？ここは一応敵の勢力圏内ですから。
I guess technically, yeah, we are. Interesting that we're in Uchugaoka Park. And with Nai. I am wondering why Naya's with Kaito. First, though, Twipo messages. There are so many people helping the Robot Club. Nothing can get better than this. It's like, I'd have to agree with Akio. Interesting. We've never had Misa-ne as a contact. So, why do we have Geji-ne saying to Misa-ne, why? That's interesting. Real quick, okay, that's red up there, the Minite-Manecho local district hall, but these other two aren't. I could've... Did I never look at the front of the building here? Access prohibited without proper permission. And Nai, I could have sworn that I looked at her geotag. Come on, there we go. November 9th, 1998. Age 21, blood type A. Lives in Nakano Shita Minati-Manecho, Kumage-gun, Kagoshima, JAXA, Omagari Lodges, JAXA Research and Development Headquarters, Unexplored R&D Center Researcher. Unexplored? Okay. I think that's all I can look at. Okay.
長いは無用です。
分かってる。
I get out of the car and reply. I asked Nai-san to drive me over to the old local hall in Uchugaoka Park. Okay, he asked her to give him a ride. I mean, that lessens the foot travel. On a clear day, you can see the VAB from here. The current mist is making that impossible. Is Misa-ne over there? Is the black hole bomb capable of killing 5 billion people also there? I forcibly tear my gaze away. Right now, Mitanecho is effectively a ghost town. As of this morning, about 80% of Nakatanecho has been evacuated. The rest are moving out under police instruction. It was never a town with that many people. Still, not seeing a single car on the way to the town office in the center of the city was chilling. It's almost like we're in an apocalypse, in a way. Not a single car. It's like no one around for miles. I can't take my time. When I open the backseat door, Airi gets out. Oh, Airi's with them.
大丈夫？
はい。
When I asked Nai-san to take me here, Airi spoke up. She wanted to come along? I wonder why. She said that she wanted to take a look at the island for the first time in 10 years. Okay. I guess that's a good enough reason. I mean, she's been asleep for far too long. Considering she had to be put into cold sleep, I had assumed she was super ill. She honestly looks fine. I am wondering, though, if Kimijima still has a hold over her. I assume he does, but I don't know for sure. To be honest, there's also something I want her to do, which is why I agreed to take her here despite the danger. What does he want her to do? Fortunately, we have Nai-san with us. And seeing how she took care of those armed men that tried to take Frau away, it's like she's a good person to have around. It's like she could just roundhouse kick anyone who tries to get to us. Though she wouldn't be able to do that with Kimijima, unfortunately. According to Frau, she's apparently ridiculously strong.
10年ぶりの島はどう？
はい。懐かしいけど、結構寂しいです。
Nostalgic, but lonely. That's an interesting thing to say.
私の知っている人は誰もいなくなってしまいましたから。
Yeah, that would make sense to why she feels a little lonely. I mean, with it being 10 years later and not knowing anyone around you, that would feel a little lonely, wouldn't it?
そうは言っても、母と君島さんくらいだったんですけど。
Right, yeah. A decade is much longer than it seems. That is too true. Too true. For example, it's possible that friends from kindergarten or elementary school are still around. I mean, if they're still friends, I mean, that could be true, but then again, you know, throughout life, friends come and go. It's rare when you can find a friend that sticks with you through most of your life. But for Airi, whose time was stopped for 10 years, they'd have aged an entire decade. They would be different people. Essentially, yeah.
俺ちょっと中を見てくるから、ナエさん、アイリさんのことよろしく。
That was a little hesitant. Airi-san. I mean, technically she is older than him, even though she still looks 14. So, I walk off on my own. Back in front of this door. I remember this door. The room at the far end of the first floor. The one with an electronic lock. The device inside this room is what I'm here for. The door is locked. It won't open it unless you input the password. Hidden hand. Aidi's the one who taught it to me. Or was it Geji-ne? I'm trying to remember. I think it was Geji-ne.
Hidden hand.
It's like I guess Aidi, the real Aidi, knows it as well. Wow, it's a little dark in here to see both of them. Makes it look a little eerie. Surprised, I turn around to find Airi and Naisan standing in the darkness.
ついてきちゃったの？
Yeah, obviously.
ごめんなさい。
Oh, it's okay, Airi.
だってほら、外にいると寒いですし。
And they want to warm up.
愛理さん、なんで今のパスワード知ってるわけ？
I mean, wouldn't it make sense that the real Airi would know the password as well?
ふっと頭の中に浮かんできました。
Hmm. Like as if AI ID. Sometimes that could be like a little bit of a tongue twister. It's as if AI ID is like inside her head in a way, I guess. And since AI ID and Geji-ne were basically the same person, I mean, technically, anyway. I guess the real ID. I guess with the real ID, just all of a sudden knowing it would make some kind of sense in a way. I guess. I mean, as if like it was like a memory from her memories of. It's like I'm getting myself a little confused. It's like there's essentially like three different IDs: real ID, AI ID, and Geji-ne. So it's like trying to talk about each one in the same context is like trying to keep straight multiple versions of the same character, which ID definitely is in this game. So, I think I just confused myself. And now that I've gotten off on this tangent, I've kind of forgotten what I was talking about. I'll just move on, I guess.
そんな言葉、今まで一度も聞いたことないのに。
Oh, now I remember. It's as if the AI ID, AI ID's memories, like, are in her, and that's how she is able to know it, because AI ID would know it as well as Geji-ne, because they're essentially the same person within IRUO. ID seems to be at a loss. She doesn't understand why she knows the password. Could Geji-ne be around here somewhere? Last week when I departed for Tokyo, I know she was still operating properly. Yeah. But for some reason she stopped showing up on my phone droid. Well, I take it that's because she switched over to a Misa-ne's phone droid. I mean, since she's part of IRUO, I guess with whoever is using IRUO and needs her, that there can't be like two of her. There's only one of her within IRUO. So if Misa-ne needs her, Kaito wouldn't be able to interact with her. It'd be really helpful if she popped up right about now. Well, that could happen, given that Misa-ne just let Geji-ne go, let her be free. There's something I wanted to ask her. In fact, I was hoping to fish out Geji-ne by bringing Airi here. Okay, that's why he wanted her to come along. That's what he wanted her to do. Well, whatever. I need to keep my priorities straight. The inside of the room is unchanged from the last time I came. For some reason, I feel like we're going to be opening Pandora's box here. Though, technically we have already when we first started collecting the Kimijima reports. But all the same, it's like, I just feel that way. The electromagnetic wave irradiation device that causes monopoles to fall from the sky. It's still working. Not surprising. Which means monopoles are still falling on Uchugaoka Park.
それは
電磁波照射装置だよ。
電磁波。これでモノポールを降らせていたんですね。教えてくれてもよかったのに。
Sorry, Nai. It's like, Kaito wasn't sure if he could trust her at first anyway.
万博が終わるまでは騒ぎになりたくなかったんだよ。
It's a little distracting, but I'm noticing Nai's like left pigtail is cutting through her shoulder there, or well, shoulder and back, I guess. But it's a little distracting, and I can't help but notice it. I leave the women alone for a moment and stand in front of the device. It uses the large antenna outside to beam EM waves into space. I think that's how Geji-ne explained it before. It's been so long. I think that's right, though. But I didn't really examine it in detail last time. I had no idea how to handle or operate it. What you do now?
それ単体では役に立たない。スロットに専用のカートリッジを挿さなければ動かないだろう。
That's right, Kimijima told Kaito how to operate it. Curious about what Sawada told me, I decided to come here. I figured there might be a cartridge-like thing somewhere on the machine. Anyhow, I began casually tapping away at the icons on the display screen. It goes without saying, but I have zero luck, so I give up on controlling the device via its screen.
何をしてるんですか？
I hope Kaito knows what he's doing.
ちょっと探し物をね。
There's nothing like a window or anything below the display. Which means I can't see inside. Am I going to have to take this thing apart in order to figure out what he meant by a cartridge? I hope it doesn't come down to taking it apart. I mean, that could just make things take longer. Then, in the darkness, I find what seems to be a button under the device. Did we find that before? I don't think we did. Just as I'm about to push it...
待ってください。
What's wrong, Heidi? Why do you want me to wait? For some reason, Heidi stops me.
装置の電源を切った方がいいと思います。
どういうこと？
あ、いえ、なんとなくそう思っただけで。
It's like something is definitely going on with Heidi. I mean, all of a sudden remembering the password, and now this odd feeling that she has about this button? But she's right. It's common sense to cut the power before taking something apart. True, yes. I follow Heidi's advice and opt to do so. However, there's no explanation for any of the buttons on the display, so I have no idea what to push.
どれだ？
これ。
And just like that, Heidi is next to me. Hi. She reaches her white, slender hand out and touches my hand. I can feel her warmth through my skin. Kaito, you okay, buddy?
実体がある。
I mean, it's like, of course she's real. It's like, come on, Kaito, you saw her in the hospital, for one. And then the whole altercation at the, airport. So, it's like, of course she's real. It's like, now he just made Heidi confused.
ああ、いや、こっちの話。
I smile and leave the display to Heidi. Or maybe he's just too used to seeing Heidi through his phone droid and having the real Heidi right in front of him has him feeling the same way he was when he was interacting with AI Heidi. Maybe. I mean, I can only guess.
アイリちゃん、わかるんですか？
It's like, does she? Or would she know?
電源を切るには、このボタンを押してサブ画面を出してから、こっちの大きなボタンを10秒間押し続ければ。
10 seconds. Okay. Heidi follows her own instructions. But it's off now. The light then vanishes from the device's display. The constant humming noise stops and the room is blanketed in silence. I guess the power's off.
あまりに自然にやってたね、今。
I glance at Nison and she nods her head in agreement. Yet her sprite is all like, "Oh, I'm surprised!" It looked to me like Heidi knew exactly what she was doing with that device. No hesitation whatsoever. She did her thing without even thinking about it. I'm starting to think that Kimijima has a hold on her right now. I mean, how else would she know about how this machine operates? These are the actions of someone who has been around the block tens of times. not an amateur. Is this really the Airi who was asleep for 10 years? Or is she actually AR Airi? I mean, if she was AR Airi, wouldn't she have just phased through Kaito when they touched? I mean, maybe, I guess, but I don't know. Hell, this could be a trap sent by Kimijima-ko. It could be, yes. But wait, she literally just touched my hand a moment ago. I felt her warmth. There's no way that she's AR Airi.
わかりません。私、今、どうして。
She is under Kimijima's control right now. It's like, why else would she be saying this? Airi seems surprised at herself. Meh, I can ask her about it later. I have Airi move out of the way and try pressing the button on the bottom of the device. When I do, a tray comes slowly sliding out. It's hard to see in the darkness, but it's actually less of a tray and more of a circuit board. It's a little bigger than a phone droid. Could this be the device's core? I steel myself and try pulling it all the way out.
これがカートリッジなのかな?
Could be. Hey, what's wrong?
ひとまず上に戻ろう。
I want to take a look at this thing somewhere with some light. The three of us return to the second floor, where we first got the Kimijima report, the very first one. It's like, I remember this room. It's a strange feeling. It was only half a year ago that I first spoke to AR Airi here. And to me, it seems a lot longer because of the fact that I'm let's playing this game. And now, the real Airi is standing right before me. Airi appears to be having some thoughts as she looks around the local hall.
アイリさんってこの島の出身だよね。
はい。
ここには来たことある？
いいえ。
She hasn't.
病気のせいもあって、いつも家に閉じこもっていましたから。
Right. That makes sense.
私の家は西の表と中種の境ぐらいにあったんです。だから島の南の方はほとんど来たことがありません。
I already looked into the house where Yukefune Airi lived. Unfortunately, it's now an empty lot. Her house is gone. I still haven't found the right time to let her know. It's been so long, it's just been abandoned. Earlier, when Airi said she wanted to go with me, I was afraid she'd ask us to take her to her house. I looked down at the circuit board in my hand. I was wondering why it was panning down. It really is just that. I mean, kind of for a second there, I thought that Kaito was like eyeing Airi up, and that just seems wrong to me, especially since she is technically still 14. I don't know much about how these things are constructed, so I have no idea how it works. The electromagnetic wave irradiation device. It's like, I always pause before saying that because I'm like, it's a word that I'm not used to saying. Irradiation. Ugh. A radiation device that Sawada gave me has a slot for something just this size. I put down the heavy knapsack slung over my shoulder and removed the device.
それが N4。
知ってるの？
And I would know about it, wouldn't she?
ええ、名前だけは
Oh, only a name. Okay.
見たのは初めてです。ん？
A device that could show illusions to tens of thousands of people in Odaiba. If we can use this thing, we can totally change the tide of battle with Misa-ne. Hopefully. Hopefully we can. I carefully aligned the circuit board with the slot entrance.
ぴったりですね。
刺してみる。
I pushed the circuit board with a bit of strength into the slot. It doesn't catch on anything, and once it's all the way inside, it clicks. Alright, it's compatible. I'm in luck.
これで使えるのかな？
Aside from the slot for the circuit board, there's no switch or button on the device itself. But I do have a little remote control that came with it in my knapsack. It's a simple controller, 2 square centimeters in size with a single button on it. Pushing said button would likely turn the device on. Push it again to shut it off, I'm betting. Will that make people see illusions? Also, it's not just that. It's possible that there's another way of using it. I'll test it out when I get back to the airport.
それで
I put the device back in the knapsack and face ID.
さっきのこと詳しく教えてくれないかな？ヒドゥンハンドっていうパスワードを知ってたこと、それと装置の電源を切る方法を知ってたことについてね。何か思い当たる？
ID rubs her temples with her fingers, a confused expression on her face.
君島さんの声が聞こえたんです。
Okay. In a way, it's kind of like, I guess, hearing the voice of God, I guess. And Kimijima would see himself as a god, wouldn't he? Like he has a god complex. Actually, I think that's the best way I could describe him. It's like he has a god complex. He has so much of an ego.
東京の病院で一人でいたら君島さんの声が聞こえて。
Yeah, I heard him laughing.
たくさんの映像を見せられました。
Showed you lots of videos?
それが本当の映像だったのか、頭の中だけの記憶だったのか、それはわかりません。誰の映した映像だったのかもわかりません。気づいた時には飛行機の中であなたたちと一緒でした。
Yeah, everything else is a blank. She doesn't remember a single thing between the two. Huh. Okay, so when when Airi as well as Misa-ne gets taken over by Kimijima and he's controlling them, they don't remember a single thing, as if their memory has been wiped in a way. I mean, that's how I want to look at it. Very, very interesting.
ヒドゥンハンドという言葉はその時に見せられた映像の中で誰かがつぶやいていて。
Okay, Was the voice male? Was it Kimijima?
さっきこの場所に来た時に初めてなのにまるで何度も来たような感じがしたんです。デジャブというものでしょうか。
Kind of, I guess. In a way, deja vu. To feel as though you've experienced something before, even though you have not. The sensation feels very real and can't be excused as a dream or forgotten about. However, you cannot remember when you experienced the same thing in the past, which leads to a strong sense of discomfort. The reason why it happens has not been discovered. The leading theory is that the memory's syncing functions of recovery and already known aren't matching up. Another theory is that it comes from your brain's parahippocampal gyrus spasming like a seizure. Huh. Interesting theories. I mean, I can't really speak to having deja vu myself, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting concept and feeling for sure.
わかりません。
I don't think A.R. Aidi's memories have been inherited by her. Okay, Kaito doesn't think that, but you know, I don't want to completely rule out that possibility, though. Those would just be ones and zeros anyway. I mean, I can't help but think of another series where putting data into a human is actually possible. So I want to believe that that's not the case. Hell, that'd mean that she remembers me giving her a kiss on the forehead through my phone droid on Christmas Eve. I mean, that would be a good memory, though. I'd die of embarrassment if she remembered that. This explains nothing. Or maybe it explains at least a part of what's going on. It doesn't explain everything, but I feel like it explains at least a little bit. Geji-ne might know something about all of this. Maybe. We could try and contact her and ask her. I boot up IRUO and survey the area with it, but there's no Geji-ne in sight. Try calling to her. Where could she have wandered off to?
アイリさんは調布空港でのことも覚えてないんだね。
はい。私、何か。
You did. Something of which I did not particularly want to see her do, even though she was being controlled.
いや、気にしなくていいよ。
I don't know if he should really be keeping that information from her. I mean, although I guess the question would be, if you don't remember a specific block of time, would you want to be filled in on what you did during that time if someone was witness to what you were doing while you were basically not yourself? I guess that's kind of like a moral question in a way. And, you know, I don't know. Personally, I would want to know if I were in that person's shoes. If I told her she'd tried to kill us and herself with a gun, it'd probably come as a massive shock. Maybe, but he doesn't really know that.
とりあえず戻りましょう。長いは禁物です。
Heidi and I both nod and exit the building. And then... Whoa. What exactly are these? Are these robots? I mean, they look like they could be robots. Just, like... I don't know, like... drones in a way? Though they don't look like they could actually fly, yet there is one hovering in mid-air in the back there.
ドローン囲まれた。
They are drones. Drone, nickname for a military unmanned aerial vehicle, also called a UAV. Its name is derived from a warrior in Greek mythology, Dolan. I did not know that. Interesting. It's like I find Greek mythology interesting, but I've never really delved into I've never really delved into Greek mythology, you know, like really studying it. But I do find that mythology interesting.
動けば撃ちます。
That voice. Heidi? But she's standing next to me, worriedly looking around with uncertainty. In that case... Geji-ne?
Geji-neか。
Oh boy. Hi, Geji-ne. I raised my phone droid in the direction of the voice, the tower scaffolding. Ooh, zoom in. Heidi is there wearing her usual fluttery dress, the icon on her head glowing. This must be Geji-ne. I mean, yes it is. It's like the icon should be a dead giveaway. Heidi looks at my phone droid from the side, and her eyes widen. I imagine that would be very surprising to see, coming from the real Heidi. I mean, it's like to see yourself like this. It's like looking at your double. And in this case, it's, I guess, an evil double?
私がいる。繰り返します。動けば撃ちます。3秒とかからず、あなた方3名は死にます。
Oh God.
カイト君、今すごくまずい状況です。
No, I got that die.
ああ、見ればわかるよ。
I never considered that Geji-ne would be a part of the enemy's forces. But this might actually be convenient for me. How so? This increases the probability that Geji-ne has the answers to my questions. What, he's gonna try and talk to her?
あのふわふわ浮いてるのって AR じゃないかな。
A fair question.
私の肉眼でも見えてますよ。
I mean, AR, being able to see AR with the naked eye, come across that a couple of times already, and this could be another case of that. It's getting harder and harder to determine what is an AR and what is real now.
お台場でもそうだったよ。肉眼でも見える幻を何十万人って人が目撃した。みんなまんまと騙されたんだ。それと同じだったりしてくれたらいいなって思ったりして。
It's like, it would be nice if it was just an AR and they weren't real. But I kind of have the feeling that they are real. But if that was the case, wouldn't Geji-ne also be visible to... There's a bullet hole in the concrete wall. They're real.
本物です。
あ、そう。
Yeah, a little bit of wishful thinking. Yeah. I didn't expect her to fire a warning shot, though. Be glad that it was a warning shot. Jeez. If it wasn't a warning shot, we would have been... One of us would have been dead. And I don't want to think that. Geji-ne is much more quick-witted than she used to be. That's because she's been set free. Right? Oh boy. It's like having a rogue program, like a virus, being distributed to a bunch of computers. Oh god.
俺たちを取り囲んで何がしたいわけ？
あなたたちを排除せよというマスターのご命令です。
I gulp. Gulp. I'm going to get killed off like a big character before I even get to square off with Misa-ne. That's funny that he says that, in a way. Give me a damn break.
だったら、なんで問答無用で撃ち殺さないんでしょう。
Nai asking the important question here.
Huh?
Is there a reason she's keeping us alive like this? If there is, maybe I can work something out.
ゲジネに聞きたいことがある。
答えるつもりはありません。
Oh, great. But that doesn't stop me from asking.
お台場の万博会場でスメラギが遠隔操縦されたことは知ってる？
Of course, no answer.
スメラギはスタンドアローンだった。ハッキングは有線以外じゃできないはずなのにだ。それについて知ってることない？
The Expo Rampage likely wasn't Misa-ne's plan, but rather Kimijima Ko's plan as part of Project Adam. Now that he says that's actually a good point. In that case, since Geji-ne is working under him, she should know something. In fact, seeing as Geji-ne is operating the drones, it's plenty possible that she also remotely operated Sumeragi. I didn't think of that. I mean, I was wondering how Sumeragi could be being operated if there wasn't anyone, inside it to operate it. And I was told that there was the possibility of it being remotely operated, so having Geji-ne remotely operate it would make sense.
教えてよ、ゲジネ。
君は勘違いをしているようだ。
Hi, Kimijima. It's him. And he just appears right in front of us, as if he's like a ghost. Oh, whoa.
Kimijima Ko.
That was kind of weird. It's like just disappears, appears, disappears, appears. Can he move from different planes of reality? If he can do that, maybe he can move to different planes of reality. It's all his fault.
君はプロジェクトアトムのシナリオにおいて主役どころか名前すら与えられていない端役に過ぎないんだ。
Okay, this is just getting meta.
あまりこんな場所をうろつかずに速やかに退場してもらいたいんだよ。東京でもそう言っただろう。
I am not Snagglepuss. If this man didn't exist, Misa-ne wouldn't have become our enemy. I would have to agree with that sentiment.
ましてや、僕の作ったものを勝手に持ち去ろうとするなんて。
Well, sorry, but we're gonna take what we need to take in order to take you down. So there.
盗っ人たけだけしいとはこのことじゃないか。
Call me a phantom thief then. Akio wouldn't have had to suffer. The expo wouldn't have been ruined, and Model 2 would still exist.
僕のレポートを全部集めてわざわざ世界中に拡散してくれたことについては敬意を表するよ、八潮海斗君。だが君はただの使いっ走りでしかないと自覚しなければいけないな。
Like, who are you calling an errand boy? It's all his fault. I want to run up to him and punch him in the face right this second. Except he can't. I'm so angry. I'm so angry that I can't actually do that. I have no way to vent this anger. If I moved right now, I'd be pumped full of holes. 10 drones are hovering above Nice and myself, their guns trained on us as they make creepy fan noises.
Geji-ne, なぜさっさと処分しない？
Yeah, Geji-ne, why haven't you killed us yet, huh? You have a little bit of a conscience in there? As if you're not fully Geji-ne? Huh? Huh? I glance at Nison, hoping she has some kind of plan. But even she seems to be at her wit's end. Her eyes are darting around. She's biting down on her lip, unable to move. Neither me nor Nison can find a way out of this. Is it hopeless? Watch someone come to our rescue. I'm not entirely sure who, but watch someone come to our rescue. Is this the end? Is this the end of the world as we know it? Without even noticing my panic.
君島さん。
Airi? Airi calls out to the mastermind, a stern expression on her face. Stern expression. Well, more accurately, she calls out to the Kimijima Ko on my phone droid screen.
君島さんは死んでいるんですか？
I was ready for this to be the end. But Geji-ne still doesn't open fire. Wait, does Airi not know that Kimijima Ko is dead? Did nobody tell her after she woke up from cold sleep? Why would anyone tell her? I mean, it's been 10 years. Way after he's been dead. So, why would anyone think to tell her?
君島公は死んでる。10年近く前だ。
そう。確かに僕は死んだよ。殺されたんだ。でも、おかげでこうして永遠の命を手に入れられた。
He does have a god complex.
もっとも、それもあと数日で終わりだろうけれどね。
In a few days? I would think that it would happen a lot sooner than that.
僕が立案し実行したプロジェクトアトムによって消滅するんだ。
Really?
宇宙から飛来する熱と電磁波の嵐。それは50億人に死をもたらすものであり、ネットワーク上に存在している僕もまたその嵐によって破壊されるだろう。
He's insane.
どうして破壊されることを望むんですか？
That's a good question.
なんだって？
死に希望を持っているから、実験の成功が嬉しいから、生きたいと思わないから。
It's like Airi has kind of cut him to the quick, hasn't she?
ほら、また
Again?
病院で再会した時もそうでした。私が眠りにつく前の君島さんと今の君島さんは違う気がします。今は君島さんの心がどこにも感じられないんです。
Which would make sense in a way because this is his memories that we're seeing, not exactly his heart. So, I mean, it's like, what? Trying to understand where she's going with saying this. His heart? The mastermind behind everything. Kimijima-ko. When I spoke to him at Chofu, his view of the world was abnormal. Nothing like the average person. I couldn't understand him. I couldn't think of him as a fellow human. My impression of him was a man with a broken mind. A man who lacked the common sense of a human. Is she saying that he wasn't always like this? I mean, we saw how he was with Airi, in her flashbacks. And he seemed genuine with her. So, what happened between that time to when he met Misa-ne and got killed, and not to mention also when he put his own memories into IRUO. Yeah. Although then again, if Kimijima-ko here is his memories, wouldn't he actually have those feelings that he had towards Airi, those genuine feelings, and not be like this? I feel like something's wrong now. Something inherently wrong. That this isn't fully Kimijima-ko's memories. I may be reading too far into it, but my mind's like churning at this revelation. Even before death, he experimented with the lives of everyone aboard the MF Amemone. Me, Akiho, and many others. If Misa-ne hadn't stopped him, everyone aboard would probably be dead. How could the man behind that have a heart?
君島さんは10年前も壊れた人でしたよね。実験のことしか考えてなかったですし。でも優しかった。君島さんの心からそれが感じられました。
君のことはいい実験台だとしか見ていなかったんだけどね。
どう見ているかは関係なくて、私を眠らせてほしいってお願いしたとき、あなたはかなり長い間迷っていましたよね。
実験内容についてじっくり検討していたんだよ。残念ながらね。
でも迷ってくれた。なのに今の君島さんは目的があってもそこに資料も思想もない。
Thought, eh? The reason for executing Project Atom. It's true that it's still unclear as to why Kimijima-ko would do something like massacre 5 billion people. That is true.
君島さんはどうして実験を成功させたいんですか？
Is he a puppet himself? Like, is this like all the Committee of 300's doing? I mean, it could be, I feel. I mean, they're extremely influential and powerful, so I could see that as a possibility.
なぜ実験を成功させたいかって？それはね、実験を成功させたいからだよ。例えば、実験の内容が50億人を虐殺するものでも、一輪の花を咲かせるものでも、僕にとっては同じなんだ。
I mean, that's two vastly different things. They're not the same.
それってつまり、あんたはただのプログラムだってことじゃないか。
I mean, in a way, he's a program. I mean, he is Kimijima's memories, right? So, did Kimijima Ko or maybe someone else, like someone from the Committee of 300, make a program of him? And maybe this isn't Kimijima's memories that we're seeing? That it's just strictly a program, an AI, like Geji-ne? Hmm.
かもしれないね。
Perhaps.
僕は死の直前に仮移植していた不完全なアルファ版のデータでのみ構成されている。そう言っただろう？
I remember that.
君島こうという人間を完全再現するにはデータ不足だったのかもしれない。
So what, like, over time, as an AR, he just became, like, corrupted? Because the data was insufficient?
もっとも、だから何か不都合があるのかといえば、特にないけれどね。